If you like to laugh, and who doesn't, then you've come to the right place. Welcome to My Funny House with the Powell brothers. Frank Powell is a real estate broker who was born and raised in San Diego, along with Frank's brother Mark, a real estate broker who also lives in San Diego. Each week, the Powell brothers bring in a special guest comedian to share hilarious real estate stories so you can learn what can go really right and what can go really wrong with home improvements and home ownership. So now, let's get into it with My Funny House. Here are your hosts, Frank and Mark Powell on The Answer San Diego.
Good morning, San Diego. Happy Saturday. My name is Mark Powell. I'm a real estate broker with Powell Brothers Realty, and sitting next to me is another real estate broker who also happens to be my brother, and his name is Frank Powell.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in again on another beautiful San Diego
Got good applause.
morning. And, of course, we have our co-producer, who is really the brains behind everything, Maria Herman.
Yay. She is.
The brains behind
You
it.
are the brains behind
Yes.
everything. You keep
Yes.
us going. We appreciate it.
Yes.
How's it going, Maria?
I'm very well. I've always been curious. Did you guys, when you were little, did you run around kicking a ball going, you know what we should do when we grow up? We should sell houses together.
We're still waiting to grow up.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do in my life.
Still kicking the ball. They're still just
Exactly.
running
Kicking the
around.
ball. And thank you for chiming in. The one and only San Diego's own world touring comedian, James Schrader.
Thank you for having me again.
In
James,
studio
He's sitting
again.
right next to us.
Right.
Like he's part of the family, man.
He
He's
is.
been here.
You're not
for
getting
too
rid
many
of me.
times.
He is
We're not
family.
getting
Until
rid
I
of
get
him.
a
Yes,
free
man.
house, I'm not
Right,
leaving.
exactly. Can you imagine that?
We got to get him a free
Can you
house.
imagine- James, what if you start looking for a house and you don't hire the Powell brothers? What are they going to do with you? How's that for obligation?
He has a, well,
I'm
he might
kidding.
no he has a realtor that works for us.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
so
right.
it's the same thing.
I'm bringing people to
Oh,
you.
yeah.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
That's why I want this free house.
His agent works for us.
Yeah.
Did you forget
Oh,
that?
yeah, you're right.
He was my agent before he worked for you.
He's
Oh, my
good,
God.
And look, we got a really good agent, Colin Lober.
Yeah,
The
shout out
guy-
to Colin.
Colin is awesome. He's smart, intelligent. He's another
Great dad, good cook,
Yep.
Oh my
He's
God.
on our team, so
gentle lover. Like he's a nice guy. He's a really nice guy.
He is. And he
And James is dating him.
yes. So
Don't
here,
tell his wife.
So here, yeah,
Don't
tell his wife. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is 15 careers in real estate, and we're going to try and get through all 15 careers because we know that people out in San Diego are looking for jobs, and there's multiple careers in real estate that do not require a college degree. You can get these jobs with a high school diploma. I don't even think some of them may not even need
Diploma and hard work.
diploma and hard work.
Some of them don't even need a real estate license.
Or hard work.
No real
Just
estate
kidding.
license.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. real estate license, or they don't even. Some may not even need a high school diploma. you
Well, let's
know?
talk about them. Let's
Okay.
go.
Do you have to show up? I mean,
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. 99%.
Says the person that's
Yeah,
zoomed into the call. Do you even have to be there?
No,
Apparently not.
No, you can participate without being here. So the first job we're going to talk about is called a real estate investor. Frank is going to just briefly explain what a real estate investor is.
Well, some people are looking at a house to live in, and there's those who are looking at a house to invest in. So a real estate investor is someone who has cash, wants to put it somewhere, wants to get a return on their investment. So they can get in with a group of people, and they can all buy, throwing their money in a big pool, and then the person, like the broker, can buy the house, and they can start getting money from the house or the building, or it could be a commercial building or whatever they want, like a REIT, real estate investment trust, and they could get a cap rate from that. So they invest 20 grand, they'll get like 8 to 10% back. That's a good return. So that's how you
I'm
invest
going to
in real
go.
estate.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say I don't know any comedians. How about you, James? None of us are going to be real estate investors.
None that I know locally. But I do know, actually, Dove Davidoff. I remember hearing a story. If you know who Dove Davidoff is, he apparently, when he had a little bit of success in New York City, he bought an apartment building. And I think this was
Wow.
like 15 years ago, which now I'm sure is paying
A lot.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
doing
that's
well.
a lot.
So if you can, it's a good thing to do with your money if you can
Right.
do it.
Another career that does require a little bit of education because you'll have to get a real estate license is a real estate agent. And there's a couple of different types of real estate agents. You can be a residential agent or a commercial agent.
A residential agent is someone who speaks on your behalf. So he basically hires somebody to do all your negotiations, to walk you through the process, to make sure that you don't end up buying something you don't like or get surprises. So the agent represents the thoughts of the buyer or the seller, depending if you're a listing agent or if you're a buying agent. So you do all the talking, which has been proven to be successful compared to those people who try to sell their house on their own. They quickly realize when somebody comes in there and goes, this is horrible, look at this house, you get offended, you start arguing, you throw them out of the house. So it's good to have a medium, which is an agent.
Not a medium like fortune teller.
No, you're not going to float around.
Well, I mean,
No.
do you want somebody to
Well,
walk
you
through
could
the
have-
house?
Yeah.
And just tell you whether there's the bad jujus in the house.
Well, you know, there's people that actually do that.
I know there are.
And they
Then you
Hey, that
light
could-
some sage,
Yes,
walk
exactly.
the house.
Isn't that
clean.
another career?
There you
There we
go.
There's a third
Yeah.
career. You could be a medium.
A real estate medium.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Frank didn't touch upon this, but I will just quickly. You can be a real estate broker working with traditional real estate, residential income, and then a commercial real estate broker is one that sells commercial properties. The difference is commercial properties are used for business. Residential properties are your residence. You're
One of them
living
is
there.
what I was talking about, the REIT, Real Estate Investment Trust. That's 100 people or more that
Right.
put all their money in a pot, and they buy commercial strip malls and so forth and so on, that you can get a return on your investment. Some of them are successful, but it's all, whenever you hear investment, that equals risk.
Right.
So anytime you're investment, there's a risk. So you got to be careful.
Which agent, the residential or the commercial, which one makes more money?
Commercial.
Commercial. Commercial.
If you sell a building for, look at buildings are like, $30 million. Can you imagine selling that and getting even a 1%? But they're more difficult. So I think, for the bread and butter, I'd rather be residential. But if you're going for the big baller, you want to sell
Right.
big buildings.
Another tangent off of that is for the third one is going to be a real estate broker. And the main difference between a real estate broker is that they're licensed to do real estate anywhere in the United States. And in order to work for yourself, you have to be a real estate broker. If you're a real estate agent, you have to work under a broker's license.
Yeah, so the broker is really the boss, and the agents work for him no matter what. Even if they're under independent contracting, the real estate broker has a responsibility to make sure that his real estate agents are doing everything properly. And once he signs off, he's taken the obligation of possibly getting involved in a lawsuit. So he has
The
to make sure
liability.
all the liability. So he has to make sure all the T's are crossed and I's are
And
dotted.
so becoming an agent takes some study. You got to pass a test. You got to get a certification. I'm guessing to become a broker, there's another level.
You have to
of
be a
that.
broker between 1 and 3. I mean, a real estate agent between 1 and 3 years before you can apply for a broker license.
There you
I think
go.
that's-
So there's room for growth.
There's
Yep,
room for growth.
absolutely.
It's really
So
a
who
good
makes
career.
more money, the agent or the broker?
Sometimes a broker makes you broker.
Yes, there's some agents that work for companies that make a lot more money than their brokers.
Right, because what you do is if you have like a 90-10 split, you get to keep 90%, the broker gets 10%, so who's making more?
And the broker's the one that's holding the liability, right?
Yeah, the
Like
broker's
they're-
liability, but the agents are making a lot of money. And if you have 10 agents, the broker doesn't have to do much because he's getting money from all his agents. He's basically turned into a manager.
It's kind of like
Right, it's volume.
sometimes
Yeah,
the
the
waiter
volume.
is making more money than the
The waiter's
person.
always making more money than the manager.
Exactly.
As soon as anyone gets hired, hey, you've been doing a great job. We'd love to make you manager. We're going to put you on a salary for
Right.
less money. We expect you to be here more often.
Yeah,
Right.
don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the waiter's making more money.
Yeah.
The next career, number 4, is a real estate developer. This is a good one. They make a lot of money if you're good at
A
it.
real estate developer is basically a person who wants to buy dirt and he can vision what he could put on that property. He's going to develop the land. It doesn't just include a building. You have to do the structure around it. They will charge you for putting in the sidewalks, the sewer, the street. They may even charge you for putting in a public library or a substation for a police department, or even putting money for a fire department. So a developer has to go well beyond just the building in order to get that permit to build. He develops the entire area and has a big plan.
Or she.
Oh God!
she.
Yes.
What was I thinking? Or
2021.
Yes.
or them.
Them. Yes.
They could do it.
I'm not sure. Yeah,
What?
she, them.
But this is on that same tangent. Number 5 is a real estate wholesaler. Now the real estate wholesaler are the ones who will typically call you up and say, "Hey, we want to buy your house for whatever amount of money."
We drove past your house. We
And
see
then-
it's almost falling down.
Yes.
We'll give you cash. We don't care about the appraiser. We're going to give you cash. We don't care what it looks like. We're not going to make you jump through any hoops
Right.
and get an inspection. We just want to buy it.
And then they get in a contract, and then they sell that. They sell that to another person, and they're just kind of the middleman. They really never get too involved in the nuts and bolts of the rehab process. They
make the deal happen.
That's exactly right.
They flip the deal.
Right, exactly. They flip the deal. Another
So
one.
who makes more money, the wholesaler or the developer?
Typically, the developer will make a little bit more money. The wholesaler will make money, but their volume.
The developer needs more money at the beginning.
Correct.
The developer's like looking like we're going to literally expand an entire neighborhood.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're putting in millions, and they're going to get the return on investment. Once they go millions, they're going to get a lot more money, but it's a lot more risky. Developers are taking a risk.
Yeah. You're literally building everything.
Community.
And they will
under the ground, above the ground.
And they got to go through all sorts of committees and planning groups and permits.
It's hard in California. Let me tell you something. The developers,
CEQA, the environmental
everything.
acts. Yeah.
There's so many obstacles.
Coastal Commission's a big one too. If you want to build by the coast, just good luck with that.
Yeah, that's very difficult.
So another one is property manager. This is number 6 on our list here. Property manager can be one of the most challenging jobs, depending on what you're managing.
Yet I think from a level of like your average person that's out there doing something, becoming a property manager is actually easier than I think most people realize, because there are a lot of privately owned apartment buildings and things like that where you can get, maybe a free apartment, but you're the one that's going to get the call at 2 a.m. Then you're going to do all the things. So there's options out there for property managers. It's not some big necessarily corporate situation.
Correct.
You might just be the guy that lives in unit 2B, and there's 25 units here, and you get free rent. Plus, you're the one that takes all the calls.
That's right.
And
you got to collect the rent. You got to make sure people pay. You got to evict. You got to do the background investigation.
Call the plumber. Call the cleaning people. Call the electrician if something goes wrong.
That's an on-site. Yeah. That's the on-site property manager. Yeah, those are nice. Those are nice jobs.
To be or not to be.
To be. Right. Could be 2C.
This number 7 takes a lot more education and experience than most people want to do. It's being a real estate attorney.
Oh, yeah. So if you're going into law school, there's a whole bunch of different avenues you could take to be an attorney. There's so many. And one of them is a real estate attorney. That's when something goes, obviously, into litigation. And that's big money, good career. Everyone's always, litigating over real estate. And so those guys are super busy. And they know a lot more knowledge. They are experts in the field. And there's certain things that, even as brokers, you just don't know the terms. And we often call a real estate attorney for advice and to see what direction we should take a certain situation.
And they also draft contracts in commercial deals. Most commercial deals are done between real estate attorneys.
Right. So you don't, in a residential, you have a form that you can fill out, residential purchase agreement. That's not in the commercial. The commercial, a specific attorney has to draft what is going on and create their own. And that's why you always call a real estate attorney when you're doing a commercial deal.
Right.
They sound like they're always making money.
They are always making money, yeah.
About a quarter hour.
Yeah. It was so cold yesterday. I saw an attorney, the rest.
Nope.
I saw an attorney with his hands in his own pocket.
That's how cold it was. Oh my God.
We apologize to
all attorneys out there, especially my sister who happens to be an attorney.
Please don't tune out.
Okay, the next one is a home inspector. You do not have to have a college degree to be a home inspector, but there's a lot of training that's involved with being a home inspector. I think it's hundreds of hours at minimum, if not thousands.
Where do you get that training? Is that like an online course? Are there things like that? Or
usually it's a background, like maybe you're an engineer, or you used to be, even a plumber, somebody that knows houses, a general contractor, someone that knows how to go through a house and inspect it. And then it does take training, and there is an association you can get into.
Well, that's to get that degree, that certification, be certified property inspector, you have to work under another property inspector. You follow them around.
Apprentice.
And you can tell the apprentice is always the one that has to go under the house.
Here's a flashlight. Take some pictures.
Exactly. Exactly.
And now when we go back to the attorney in litigation, this is another one. So the inspector has to be very good. So if you come across something that the guy just missed, they could bring him into a lawsuit or litigation. So the inspectors have to report on everything they see now, even if it's a scratch on the wall. So sometimes you get a brand new house that has a 93-page inspection report. That's just because the guy wants to cover everything, to cover himself.
Yeah.
So don't be scared of those big, huge inspection
you want to
reports.
know.
You want to know
everything.
Right. You want to know.
Whether you're the buyer or the seller. If you're the seller, you want to know that, hey, everything was, you knew everything.
Right. You want to disclose and be transparent.
So there's the other job that we're going to talk about is a real estate appraiser. And there's a couple different types of real estate appraisers. There's appraisers that will do residential real estate. There's appraisers that will do commercial and land, and they get a special designation. They're almost like the attorneys of real estate. It's a MAI, I believe. It's
certain designation for them.
yes.
To evaluate land is very difficult. It's not just a plot of earth. There's also whether or not you could like maybe put a well in there. Is there water? Is there what the drainage is like? What the topography is like?
What the environmental impact will be?
Yeah,
Exactly.
all that kind of stuff,
It's
right?
a lot.
Yeah, environmental impact. If you have certain, California has a wide range of animals that are protected. The burrowing owl, that's one. You got the salamanders, the frogs. You got certain types
The
of
red-legged
birds.
frogs, I think they are.
Yeah, so
they're
there's a whole bunch. And
How about the wide-legged, wide-mouthed comedian frog?
Yes.
You know what they have in Florida? You're from Florida.
Mm-hmm.
They had these when I was out at Marco Island. They had these burrowing owls.
Yeah, they have
You ever
them here in
seen
Chula
them?
Vista.
They do?
Yeah, they're about, well, they dig a hole.
Yeah. You can't do anything if there's
No,
an owl nest there.
Right, that's why in Chula Vista they stop a lot of development.
And the
They
shrimp. You ever seen those?
I hear the owl now.
The burrowing shrimp?
No, there's not. no, the land shrimp.
You'll never
They
believe it.
look just like regular shrimp, and
Only
they live
they're
in these
tiny.
vernal pools. And the birds eat these shrimp. So if you find some land with these shrimp in it, you essentially
We were selling a house in East County, someplace where you never expect to find a shrimp. And I opened the door and I see these red things jumping. They're about like half a centimeter long.
Yes.
And I'm looking at them and like, these look like shrimp. What the heck? We found out there's a
they're
certain-
called land shrimp.
Yeah,
so
land
you guys,
shrimp.
if you guys can Google it, just look up land
Let's
shrimp.
It takes a lot to eat before you can taste it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I
yeah.
was going to say, that's a really interesting cocktail right
Well,
there.
you know what? They taste like termites. If you ever had them.
Can you imagine putting
No.
one of those, put one
little
of
draw
those,
of butter, a little garlic.
put one of those
Because-
termites on the edge of a.
Because we know these things.
Yes,
Yeah.
we do. Okay, so the next one, number 11, we're gonna try and get through all of these. We should is a real estate assistant, and that's exactly what the term is. You assist a real estate agent or real estate broker in setting up meetings, in coordinating schedules, helping out with the open houses.
Would that include a transaction coordinator, or is that different?
I don't even have that on here.
I
but-
know you
but
should.
You can. Okay, well, put
But
it
I'll
in
just-
there.
I'm
There's-
guessing as a real estate assistant, that's a great way to kind of get your feet wet to see, is this something I want to do? Is this like it's a good way
that
to
could be
learn
a
the
career.
ropes?
I can tell you exactly what it's like because Frank has designated me as his assistant.
Right.
He always tells me what
I
to
need
do.
copies, Mark. Hurry
Yes.
up with that report.
Go get me coffee
you
from Starbucks.
Yeah, you can have them, running around doing things, putting up signs,
Yes.
helping you with everything. Actually, every good broker should have an assistant that
Right.
will launch you. You think you're going to run out of money, but the assistant is what really leads to a
Right.
better career. And also what's called a transaction coordinator or a TC. And they're just what it says. They coordinate your whole transactions. In California, there's so many papers to sign, so many disclosures to send out. The transaction coordinator helps you do all that. You must, if you are smart, you will hire a good transaction coordinator to make everything legal and represent the DRE respectively.
Just coming down from real estate assistant is a real estate marketing specialist, which is another important. You can hire a company to do that if you want to, but you could have somebody working specifically for you if you have big volume marketing.
Couldn't you just get a teenager on who's
Yeah.
good with Facebook and Instagram? I mean, they're
Well, that's the social
basically
media.
Yeah.
That's
all,
right.
all kids are marketing specialists at
Well,
this point. We've
I think
we've
so.
No, you're
grown them
absolutely
that
right.
Better
way.
than me, yeah.
That's actually good, but there's also child labor laws because the ones that really know what's going on are like 12 years old.
Exactly.
They're taking over right now.
Yeah, they know how to.
Also, if you have big properties, let's say you have a $20 million estate in Rancho Santa Fe, you'll hire someone just to market that because it's such a huge investment and it's an international deal.
Yeah,
Because
that's like a niche market
That's a
of
niche
buyers.
market,
Yes.
correct.
They-
Which is global. You can have someone in England buy a house in San Diego, so you want to make sure you market it correctly.
13 on my list is real estate consultant. And we can just touch upon that quickly. That's just somebody who you call up for real estate advice. And it's typically
James, that's you, James.
I'm here. I'm the
Oh
consultant.
my God. Hey guys, and for those of you James is a comedian, and I was telling to him before the show, he has a wealth of knowledge when it comes to construction and real estate and pipes and all this
And
stuff. He
fart
just-
jokes.
And,
Yeah.
and fart jokes, of
I have
course.
a wealth of knowledge.
That's part of the pipes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Hopefully you don't have to scope those.
Real estate loan officer is next.
Really, yeah, the loan officer is what everybody needs is going to buy a house. You need to get somebody to help you with your loan and the lender.
So they work for a bank or private bank or hard money, and they're the ones who negotiate the loan for you, lock in your rates, make sure you can pay for it, do your make sure your income to debt ratio qualifies you. So they have an important role.
Right.
Without the loan officer, you're not going to be able to shop. You don't know how much you can spend.
And without the loan broker, the mortgage broker, there's no loan officer, because the loan officer, number 15 is mortgage broker, works under the license of the broker. So
That's right. Just like an agent works under the broker's license of a broker.
Right.
So
who's broker?
So yeah. So you have to make sure you can interview the loan officers. Make sure you get a good one that's been around for a long time, that doesn't like do the bait and switch. So be very careful with loan officers.
So
that was fast.
Right.
Wow.
We really need to know how to get a hold of our wonderful comedians today. We have James over here. James, how do we get a hold of him?
Just go to jamesschrader.com, Google James Schrader or Dr. Squatch Guy, and I'll pop up, and that's the best way to find me.
That's awesome.
His commercials are hilarious.
And
You gotta
Maria
watch them.
Herman.
ComedyHeights.com, but I want to make money, so I'm going to become a real estate wholesaler, broker, attorney, person.
All of them.
Consultant.
Exactly.
Only working commercial, though.
And Frank, how do you get a hold of us?
Well, with us, it's very simple. You can go on our YouTube channel, My Funny House with the Powell Brothers. You can give us a call directly at 858-922-7725. That's Mark's personal cell phone. Or you can go powellbrothersrealty.com.
Thank you. Hey,
We're all over the place.
We're everywhere.
And for the agents, if you want some consulting for free, give us a call. We'll get you by. We like to work, make sure everyone's successful. And if you're looking to buy or sell, give us a call too, and we'll give you some advice and see if we can help you out. Hey, thanks for all our listeners. We're getting a lot of emails and all these good questions.
I think this is show number 50. So
there
we go.
Congratulations.
Show
number
50.
50.
Woo!
We should have got a cake.
Hey.
Yeah, where's the cake?
Yeah, exactly. See you next week.
See you next Saturday. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for joining us today for My Funny House with the Powell Brothers, right here on The Answer San Diego. Join us next week as the Powell Brothers bring you more funny stories of what can go really right and what can go really wrong with home improvements and home ownership, and bring the laughs to you with yet another hilarious guest comedian. To find out more about the Powell Brothers, be sure to check out their website at powellbrothersrealty.com, or you can visit myfunnyhouse.com. Again, thanks for being with us, and we'll see you next week for My Funny House on The Answer San Diego.